The secret to a perfect hash brown is we cook it twice. Keep watching and we'll unpack in this video. G'day guys, how's it going? Welcome back to Samsung Kitchen. My name is Sam Lim. I am a home cook who's really passionate about sustainability, but more importantly, save money by making things at home, and hopefully I can be helping you guys save $1 here or there. So before we get into the recipe, I'm filming on the 26th of February, and just about 2-3 days ago, Russian invasion has commenced in Ukraine, and there is so much going on. I have a lot of feelings about the situation coming from Taiwan being in a really similar situation, a tiny country being bullied by a massive country powerhouse. Not to get political, all of the thoughts and prayers go to the vulnerables over in Ukraine. By the time this video goes up, it would have been 1 week away, will be in early March, and I really hope that things start to recover. Same as a lot of people that I know, so much attention has gone into this situation, and just a little reminder that, hey, make sure that you're still resting well, make sure you're still eating well, and if you feel like treating yourself a little bit, follow along my hash brown recipe. I'll show you how to turn ordinary potato into some delicious crispy hash brown. Alright, that is all I have to say about hash browns. Before we get into the recipe, if you feel like supporting me, subscribing will be really appreciated. I am still on my way to try to hit that 1,000 subscriber mark, so any single subscribes helps tremendously. And obviously, give me feedback, whether you like the video or not. I will respond to all of you, given there are only 300 something of you anyway. So thank you so much, and let's get cooking. Making hash browns, it can't be much simpler. First off, we want some potatoes. Starchy potato make crunchier hash browns, so if you can get your hands on some, bloody go for it. I'm cheap and not as picky, so just got some reduced potato that got sold for $1 per kilo, and that will do. Next, we're going to need a tiny amount of flour as a binding agent to hold our hash brown together. Potato starch or cornstarch can be used here for a crunchier texture, but I'm sticking to the basic here just to keep the cost down as well. Some salt to season, some neutral tasting oil to cook and fry our potato. That is all we need, can't be much simpler. We'll put these aside and get started. First off, we're going to grate our potatoes. Grab a box grater and grate it the short way or the cross way. We want the potato bits to be bite-sized rather than stringy that you can actually bite it and pull it out of the hash brown. Just imagine that, it sounds pretty gross. If you don't have a grater, julienning the potato manually also does the trick. It just takes a little bit more effort. I grated about 200 grams of potato for 2 hash browns. Now this is all done. For some reason, I thought I needed to transfer them into a bowl, so here's some nice B-rolls for you. Just to realize that the potatoes need to have the moisture squeezed out. You can see that freshly grated potato still contains a fair bit of moisture, and that water is what will prevent our hash brown from getting crispy. To avoid such tragedy from happening, lay out a kitchen towel, and then we want to transfer our grated potato into the bowl. Grab the 4 corners of the towel and then start twisting to squeeze out the excess moisture. Here, you can see the squeezed potato is much drier than how it was when it was freshly grated. Now this is all ready to go, we'll move over to the stove and cook our potatoes for the first time. Put a pot or pan on medium to low heat, add in some neutral tasting oil so the potatoes don't stick to the pan. Once the pan is up to temperature, add in our potato. The heat should be gentle here, as we are just wanting to cook the potato through, not to brown it or anything. Give it a good stirring to make sure it's receiving heat evenly. They should start to come together like what you can see on the screen. That is the sign that the potato is cooked. Obviously, the easiest way to tell is to just taste it. Next, we want to transfer our cooked potato into a tray or pan to cool down. We want to make sure our potato is completely chilled before we cook it the second time in order to get that crispy exterior. I spread the potato out to have as much surface area exposed as possible to cool down the potato faster. I popped mine in the fridge just to fast track it a little bit. It took less than 10 minutes to cool down the entire tray. Now the potato is cooled down, it is time to season and shape it into hash brown shape. Add a small pinch of salt. If you want to be precise, go with 2% of the potato weight. That is usually a pretty good starting point. A pinch of flour into the potato is a binding agent to hold everything together. Once all in, use our hands to combine it all together. And then all is left to do is to shape it. I find roughly 100 grams is a good amount per hash brown. Here I have roughly 200 grams, so I'm just halving it. Pick a good amount of hash brown and then we want to pack it in tightly so they don't fall apart when being cooked. This is when we can give it a classic Macca's oval shape to our hash brown. Lay them out on the board and then it's time to cook. I'm shallow frying them just because it's easier, but deep frying or air frying will work just fine. I got the pan on medium heat. Once up to temperature, put the hash brown in and drizzle in some neutral tasting oil. Here, I realized that I made a mistake that I should have had the oil heated up in the pan before putting in the hash brown to get it frying right away. It took a little bit longer, but when I flipped it over, I was not disappointed with how golden brown it got. I continued to cook the other side of the hash brown while basting it with oil to get it extra crispy. And that is how you make crispy hash brown at the comfort of your home. The cost breakdown is as below. 2 potatoes at $1 a kilo equals to 20 cents. 4 grams of salt at 90 cents per kilo equals to 0.36 cents. 50 grams of neutral tasting oil at $3.5 a kilo equals to 17.5 cents. 5 grams of flour at $1 a kilo equals to 0.5 cents. So altogether, 2 hash browns costed us 38.4 cents to make. That is 19 cents per hash brown. Do this in bulk and you will never have to buy any hash browns again. Alright, and there we have it. We've got our homemade hash brown done. It's so simple, literally just potato, mixing with some seasoning and some flour to bind it. Cook it twice and that's what gives us that crispy exterior, but also on the inside it's nice and fluffy. I'm going to dig in and just let you know how it tastes like. The golden brown outside and then just nice and salty on the inside. This is such a guilty pleasure. I mean, who doesn't love a good potato? And when it's nice and crispy and salty, it can be a little afternoon snack, can be a little add-on for your breakfast. Make a bunch of these, store them in the freezer. The fact that you can actually make these hash brown and then form them into the proper shape and then just freeze them. And they're ready to go straight from the oven. If you do have an air fryer, it's perfect for this purpose. Dip it in some tomato sauce. It's such a classic combo. Making this at home is really not that complicated. When you get a batch of really cheap potato, highly recommend you doing this, and this is just ready to go, like I said, anytime. Alright, and there we have it, and that is our hash brown. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. If you didn't, give it a dislike and let me know what you think and how I can improve my videos. I appreciate your feedback, whether it's positive or negative. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.